Okay, podcast number 3. I just wanted to say that once again, if I become uninteresting, fire's hot, but you tune out the audio, you turn it down, you just focus on the fire, and you'll get a lot out of that. All right, so video 3. I'm sweating already. We're just so naive, right? We're always shocked at government corruption. We're always shocked that the military gets involved with yet another war. I mean, it's not the military's decision, oftentimes against the military's will, because the military is actually informed of whatever region they're being dispatched to. But my dad used to always say the U.S. government always makes the wrong decisions with respect to foreign policy. And we would both grumble about it, but then I'd later realize that that's intentional. They make wrong decisions in the eyes of naive, good people, which is 95% of people. They make wrong decisions in the eyes of virtuous people that do not want to go to war and kill faraway people. But the government, that 10%, the 5%, are not good, virtuous people. Therefore, their decisions look bad, but they're good, and they're in the best interest of the leaders or the politicians or the oligarchs or the elites or whoever they are. They're not good people, right? When it's a good decision to go just invade Iraq or invade Vietnam or invade Korea or support Ukraine, etc., or have, how many bases do we have now? About 400 bases around the world. This is the U.S. One in Japan that's not even operating. I mean, really has no purpose. These are not good decisions by good people. These are bad decisions by bad people. And we're always shocked because we grew up by basically naive parents and naive systems, shielding us from reality and the truth and corruption. We come of age, and in our late teens and early 20s, come to learn of realities, then we're shocked and dismayed and depressed. I visited lots of developing countries through Asia, Ecuador, etc. They're raised to suspect government by default. So they're not as jaded as they grow up. They don't grow up in a sheltered, shielded world where they're naive. They're very not naive from early age. My female friend Maria grew up in the Philippines, and by default, they all just knew that the Marcos family, or that whatever government is in power, is corrupt, and that the people are being exploited, and that you'll never get the truth, and that money goes missing. So this is what they were taught to expect from a very early age, because they're not naive. In the Western world, we were very naive until I think the lockdowns and mandates and the vaccination policies, the mandatory vaccination policies. Get vaccinated or lose your job. Get vaccinated or lose your business. You can't go into a business. You can't travel. You can't cross a border, etc. I think finally a lot of people went from naive to jaded, suspecting the media of being biased and censoring people and not allowing free speech and debate. Which leads me to my next point, which is, why are most people not whistleblowers? Why do most people live in fear? We have doctors in the profession that are aware of the harms of the vaccines and yet say nothing. We have paramedics across the countries that have witnessed a lot of vaccine injuries and yet very few speak out, only the minority. We have media personnel that are aware of media bias and censorship. Very few speak out or leave their jobs in protest. Was there another one? People that know that chemical trails are happening. Chemtrails. People are fully aware of it in the military and beyond. Do they speak out? No. It's always the minority. It's always the one person. The Julian Assange, the Edward Snowden, the people that are, the Harriet Tubmans of the world. They're one in a million, and yet we're all taught, don't fear anything, fear nothing, except we all live in fear. Most people live in fear most of the time and are gutless. Most of the Nazis that knew that Hitler was evil, gutless. They just basically participated in heinous acts and were instruments of evil and didn't say a gosh darn word. That's how most people are in the workplace too. They're afraid of the boss. They're afraid of being fired. So they won't say anything. Most people are spineless. Most people are naive. Most people stay quiet. Most people are obedient. Most people adopt groupthink. This is why we are where we are, as we always have been, at the bottom of the hierarchy. And now at the top of the hierarchy will be AI, artificial intelligence. They say this is going to be a big problem and that humans will not solve this problem. But humans are always challenged where we're weak. We are always challenged where we're weak, either individually or collectively, globally, etc. Everyone's downfall is when they're tempted and when they are pressured where they're weak. Life is a series of challenges where we're weak. A challenge wouldn't be a challenge if we were strong in that area. So life is a journey, a series of struggles. Why it's a struggle? Because we're being challenged where we're weak. We either overcome or we succumb. And with AI, we're going to be challenged to have to think for ourselves. We're going to be challenged to have to handle it humanely and as a group, whether you're left or right. Same thing with the environment. We have to come together. We will be challenged to come together with the left and the right. The left and right will be challenged to come together. Both sides will resist it, resent it, because we come from immaturity. The human journey is about maturity. It's about becoming more mature than you were yesterday, progressing, about humanity progressing. We will be challenged where we're immature, where we feel pressured, meaning we feel pressured because we're not developed in that area. And so AI is going to present a lot of challenges that humans are going to have to individually and collectively meet. We're going to have to team up with people whose ideologies we may disagree with, but for the preservation of humanity. Same thing with the environment, chemtrails, etc. And oftentimes in politics, we just disagree with something because the leader in charge is on the other team. So we just disagree. Or we'll agree with something because our team is a proponent of this particular issue. Whatever side our team takes, we sacrifice our brains, our intellectual abilities, our ability to think critically, and we'll just sign up for whatever the team says. So it's groupthink because we want to belong. And it's a sense of virtue signaling. Yes, I believe in that because we're good and they're bad. And I don't believe in what they're saying because they're bad, we're good. So humanity is going to be challenged individually and collectively to unite with people of different ideologies for self-preservation in multiple arenas, right? Again, AI, environment, foreign wars, etc. And I challenge anyone who knows anything, to speak out. I found that in grade school, I was oftentimes the one student in 30 in a classroom that spoke out to the teacher. If I observed wrongdoing, everyone else, I knew I was speaking out on behalf of everyone because we all witnessed it. And yet everyone else stayed quiet because they're afraid of the teacher, afraid of punishment, afraid of not being liked by authority, afraid of being graded or judged badly on the next test, etc. Afraid of maybe being mistreated or overlooked or neglected because you challenged authority. This is what Jesus did. This is what all of our spiritual heroes did. This is what Buddha did. Challenge authority. The hypocrites in the room. They challenge the people who make the decisions that the collective knows are bad, but they believe are good because the decisions will benefit them, whether it's war, abuse, etc. So it all sort of ties in today. And at the end of the day, as I always say, you have to think critically. You have to abandon this need for approval, this sort of craving to adopt groupthink, and because we're all going to be challenged to think for ourselves. And if you think for yourself, you'll be more likely to team up with the enemy on the other side of the aisle to preserve humanity and question authority. So that's basically it. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next podcast.